Hey everyone, okay, mark it down and get ready. August 11th, it's a Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live. I hope all of you join me. I would love to answer your questions. I'm going to get to as many of them as I can. And also, I have an email. It's lifebeyondthecloudspodcast@gmail.com. So please write in your questions because I'm actually going to be going through those and picking those out also. So please like and subscribe. Those are the questions I'm going to answer is for subscribers. Rachel and I are really looking forward to this, and we thank all of you for the support. But please mark it down. Get ready. August 11th, 7 o'clock. It's a Sunday evening. I can't wait to see all of you there. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome all of you to Life Beyond the Clouds. And I want to first thank everyone that's been liking and subscribing. It means so much to me, and I can't do this without you. And for the people that are new that are watching, please like and subscribe. Today's podcast, in this episode, I actually have my mother on. It's been so interesting since I started doing this channel. So many people are asking me about my family when I was a little girl and about my mother. And did she sense or feel things? Did she know? Does she have the gift? Did she see it in me? How young was I when she saw? So I'm really excited. My mother actually agreed to do this. And she's going to talk about messages and things that I had when I was little and just let you know a little bit about this and the way this works for me. And I thank all of you so much. And I want this to be about all of you. This matters to me so very much. And it's about helping all of you on your daily journey. It's not just about me giving messages and showing you. It's about really enlightening all of you because you're all connected. We're all connected all the time. And I really want to help all of you with this. So I hope you sit back and enjoy and watch this. And Mom, thank you so much. I love you. And thank you, everybody that's liking and subscribing. God bless. Well, I'm really excited about today's episode. I actually have my mother on here, Jeanne. I'm so excited to have you on, Mom. I've been wanting to have you on for so long, and everybody comes to me and always asks, did your mother know you have the gift? How old were you? Did she realize it? And what it's like for me. And I never really talk about myself and how it got started. So I just am really excited and want to have you on. And I thank everybody for watching Life Beyond the Clouds. And I do ask everyone to please like and subscribe because this is about all of you and trying to help everybody on this journey. And it helps me so much and it helps all of you if you do like and subscribe. But Mom, I really just want to ask you questions. Like, when did you remember me? Is there anything that stands out that you remember that you thought maybe I had this gift or there was something different? Do you remember how young I was?
Now, I don't remember when you actually showed signs to me of having this special gift that you do have. And I am amazed at this gift that you do have because some of the things that you have told people are so accurate and so helpful for them to move on with their lives. Now, to answer your question, I guess it could have been the little carnival that we had, and I think it was for your ninth birthday. And I thought for some reason or other, and I don't know why, we would dress you up as a gypsy. And I remember putting a turban on you. I remember the big hooped earrings. We actually
Yep,
used
I remember
something
those.
of Dad's because Dad used to like to be Pete the Pirate,
Yep.
always on Halloween. So we dressed you up with a turban, and I had all kinds of necklaces that made sounds and whatnot, and bracelets and colorful skirt and whatnot. And so you did do some of this sitting people, and that surprised me. You actually played the part, and I thought, oh, she is playing that part and doing it well. You had all of them come one by one, the children, might have been about 10 of them. You had all of them come and sit in front of you at a table that Dad put up in the yard, and you would sit there. And I didn't really hear what you were saying, but they were all anxious after they heard some of the things you were saying to the first, second, third. They were all sitting down listening to you. But then Mrs. I'll name her because she's no longer here. Mrs. McDonald, who lived maybe four houses down,
Mm-hmm.
wanted you to come and talk to her because the twins had told her what you were doing. And so you sat down in front of her. I don't know what you said to her. She never told me what you said to her. But then you left and you came back up the hill here, and I said, "Well, how was that?" And you said, "Oh, Mrs. McDonald was really interested in what I had to say, so much so that she called you back and wanted you to talk to her some more."
I forgot about that. I remember that now.
You remember that? Must be that
Yes.
you started back then, Renee. One other
Yes.
incident, when I did private duty, I had you come and sit there with me, and I wasn't sure as to how long I would be there. It was a kind of like maybe at 3. I used to work 3 to 11. And so as the woman progressed into maybe being coma-like, I called her family to let them know that I didn't think she had much longer. and you were outside, and I called you in, and I didn't want you to come in and see this. For some reason, I told you you could stay outside. It was a nice day and warm and all. And so then when she did pass, I called all the family, and as they all came in, she had a little house next to their house, this lady, and you and I sat outside, and you said to me, "Mom, I did see Jesus come, and I did see him," which even now it gives me chills to think. I thought, where did that come from? He said, I saw him walk into the house, and then the Blessed Mother too was there. And do you remember what you told me then, Renee? I mean, what you saw?
I can remember sitting outside. I actually remember this now that you talk about it. I remember you wanted me to wait outside because you knew, now that you're talking about this, that she didn't have much longer. And I can remember the grandson was very young. There was a grandson that lived there that was visiting. He
Mhm.
was probably maybe 14, and he was very close to her. And I remember I just started praying for the lady, and I did see vision of Jesus. I saw him levitating over these beautiful roses. And I remember I said to her, to the little boy too, your grandmother is okay. She's going to always be with you. And she said, happy birthday. And he said, today's my birthday. That she went to heaven on his birthday. I remember that now that you talk about it. So
Now
funny.
that's something. Yeah, I mean that is amazing. And you were very young. I mean,
Yeah.
you were still only maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah. And I can remember. It's so funny. I forget.
And other times where we had a neighbor across the street who said that they had found a tumor or something on her neck, and she was worried about that. And she came in the backyard, and you kind of looked at it, and I think you said you don't need to worry. It's a virus or something like that.
Oh gosh. I remember that. Know what happened the night before is I had a dream, a premonition, and I remember calling you in the morning. I had a dream that the Blessed Mother came to me and said, someone needs me to heal them, that she'll let me know. And I called you in the morning and I said, oh my gosh, this was so real, Mom. So I came and you said, well, oh my gosh, girl across the street said that they found a tumor on her. And you said, don't say anything. And when I got there, she came over and she showed it to me. And I remember I just started praying. I put my hand on it and I didn't tell her what I was doing. And I just started praying. And then every night I kept praying for her, and I said, let me know when you find out about the biopsy test. The night before she called me, I had another dream and it sounded like these little children, right? And they said, stop worrying her about it. It's only a virus. She's healed. It's gone. Oh my gosh. She called me the next day. And I remember she was crying and she said she went in to get the biopsy and they couldn't find it. They said it was gone. It was only a virus, that she's healed. And gosh, you know what? This is what's so good about talking about this stuff. And I want everyone to understand that we do, we do receive messages and that we do have the divine. And this is why, like talking to you too, some of the stuff I've forgotten about it, so
Well, some of the things that you asked the question, when did I recognize it? I
yeah,
would say it was probably around 9 and 10. And when you were younger, you may have come up with things, but you always say, oh, children have imaginations, and
right, right.
they exaggerate. Sometimes they see things, and you
Yes,
pass it off as children do that. And so
yes.
I can't talk about anything before 9 years old that really made me say, I wonder, And as far as like people ask me, where did your daughter get this gift? I don't know where. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think I had any of that. I mean, I'm one of 11 children, and maybe I was too busy with other things with 11 children
Probably,
and being the oldest. But
probably.
Renee, also, I don't know how old you were when you said you saw my mother after my mother passed on. You saw my mother at an amusement park, and she was standing on the wharf, well, by water, but looking on, she could see like an amusement park and all of these rides that they had, the merry-go-round. Um, and I said, well, it's strange that you would see my mother there because my mother used to go dancing in this big dance hall.
Yeah, and I asked her, I said, "What do you do in heaven?" And she said, "I go dancing all the time." And that's what you said. And the dress I described to you, because granted, I only saw your mother maybe 3 times in our life. She lived in California, so we didn't grow up with any of
And
them.
we didn't see
And
her as a young lady either.
she came to me young, and the dress I was wearing, you actually went and pulled out a picture of her wearing that exact dress after I told you about the dream and the visitation. The one that stands out with me a lot too, though, is you and I had plans to go to a jewelry store. I remember talking to you at night to get battery watches. And that night, your mother came to me and she kept showing me this 50-cent piece, right? It was this round 50-cent piece. And I
Can you see
remember
that?
she,
Can you see the
yeah,
coin? Oh, I don't know. Right
yeah,
here it
this
is.
right there. I can see it. Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
she held this in my face in the dream, but my dreams are so real. I call them waking dreams where it's like I know I'm in heaven, but I know, you know what I mean, I'm still connected here. But she held this up in my face and she said, tell Jean to make a necklace out of it. It's 100 years old. And I can remember seeing the ribbing around it and the edging. And oh my gosh, I always sit up, you know what I mean? Because it's so real. I remember going down to see you and I said, Mom, did your mother ever have a kind of like a silver dollar with like a edging around it? And she said it's 100 years old. I remember you walking down the hall and I was still talking to Dad, and you came back like 15 minutes later with this old box, right? And you put it on the table. And I remember saying to you, Mom, what are you doing? And you started taking stuff out, and then you pulled out that coin. And I said, oh my gosh, what is that? That's what I saw. That's what your mother showed me. And you said, I forgot I had it. It was one of the only things she ever gave me. And you looked at it with a magnifying glass and you said, it's 100 years old. And I remember we took it when we went to the jewelry store, you put the bail on it and you've worn it ever since then. See, I think that kind of stuff is amazing.
Yeah, it was probably important to my mother. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think she had much left, to give anyone with
Mm-hmm.
11 children. But this is the one thing she gave to me when she came here. And, I didn't pay much attention, so I put it in my jewelry box. But I think to my mother it was important because when you don't have that much to leave, you want them to have something. And I do think of that. I think for my mother that was very important. And that's why you suggested putting it, I don't know what that's called, that veil or something or other, to put it on a chain. And they had to add something to but it was strange as it had something around it. I don't know, a covering of some sort. And it is over 100 years old. So there's so many things like that, Renee. You probably don't remember this, but I do remember you saying, did Dad tell you when you were dating to look in the glove compartment or something? Do you remember that? And I thought, well, no one knew that. He bought two engagement rings, and he wanted me to open the glove compartment and
That's
pick one
Dad.
out. And so that was something no one, I don't think Dad ever told, I don't think he told anybody about that. So I thought, well, that's odd. So that happened not too, well. That was when you were older, and I
Yes.
don't know. As you got older, you went to work and you got busy, and So I don't know whether you did much along this line with. Well, I'm trying to think. We walked into a store one time. I don't know if you want me to repeat this one, but you did mention to somebody about a daughter that she had, and she lost
Oh my gosh.
around Christmas time. And that always was like so unbelievable. You told her about something she gave her daughter, and
About
the
the
daughter
stuffed
slept
snake,
with it,
I said a long, big stuffed snake on her bed.
and
I said, she
about
thanked you
things
for
that
the
she
shoes.
wore that you always she said you buy her these all the time. So you knew that, and you didn't know the lady. I mean, you had never met her before. So so all of those things that you remember of people, you do get messages from the other side. How would you know that? I mean, for me, I hear it and I thought to myself, I hope Renee's not getting in some kind of trouble here saying things. But the lady did let you know that that was all true, and that she had just gotten back to work. She worked as a cashier, and she said she was so happy to hear what you had to say because it was very difficult for her to get through what she had to go through because she had lost her daughter before Christmas time. So that's another incident. And then that kind of, I don't know how you started, Renee, doing this with people. People started calling you and wanting you to do readings. And I could not believe how many people you have talked. I mean, I could not guess as to how many people you have had come and given them sessions, phone sessions, FaceTime, and you donate so much time to this sort of thing, and yet you still babysit on the side for your grandchildren. I don't know how you do it all, Renee. So I
Uh,
have to give you credit.
Mom, I think it's always, I just think when we talked about where does it come from, or people say, I always just say it comes from the divine, it comes from heaven. I think I signed up for this before I came, that we all get messages. And I know you always say not like, but I mean, we all get messages to help and guide us, right? Like to go over here, don't do this, stop, look right, don't go through that red light.
That's kind of like intuition, though. What you have, Renee, is direct conversations with the people that come to see you. It's almost like they're waiting in line, And I can't believe that you always have a message. It's not like you see somebody and you say, "Oh, I don't know, I can't answer that." I mean, it's like you have dates, you have names, you have the situations that happened that brought them there. They don't even have to tell you that. So I look at it like that's a special gift that you were given, and you are using it to help others. And that's the reason for it, Renee.
And that's just what I always believe that it's for, Mom. And this is why, like I said, I really wanted to have you on today because I just think people always wonder who's this person? What are they when they're not doing this? Or does other family members know? We are real people. We do have a real life. We have parents, family that we love, that we do, have other things. I think it's very important for people to see a different side of it. So many people ask me about they'll just say, well, what does your mother think?
I was always very skeptical of this kind of thing.
I know.
I come from a religion that taught you that some of this is not, you know, not the right thing to do. But I think it's different when you're using it as a blessing to people.
Yes.
You're just releasing them from all of this heartache that some of these heartbreaking losses have left them with. I mean, I think of that and I think what they have to go through is almost unbearable. But when you can bring to them the one that they lost, and they come up with certain things, I mean, I can't believe some of the things you have told people, and they say, "Oh my goodness." So it makes one realize that there's more to life. I mean, it's not just the here and now, that there is more. I think it helps everybody that listens to this. And I think it's very important for people to know, their loved ones are always with them.
That's
And
what
the
it is.
losses that these people go and have to live here to deal with, they're being helped by the person that they lost. So that's very important. So it is a special gift. You don't
Well,
have to meditate. I mean, you pray. You
yes,
pray.
I
And that's
pray.
the most important thing. You
Yes,
do pray to Jesus and to the Blessed Mother and to
yes.
God. So this is something that you were given, and I think it is a special gift because you tell people things that no one could know. I'm not going into any of them because
No,
they're a personal thing.
yes.
But people walk away, and I don't think there's one person that has walked away saying they're not amazed at the things that you come out with. And to you, it's just like a natural, it's like everyday thing. I think it's something that people don't realize that when you lose somebody and those people, uh, there's no closure to them.
No.
What you give them is a closure. And they do say that now they can walk away and get back onto living their life. But almost sometimes when I've noted that the people that come to see you, they have not left that loss and they find it very hard to move on. Well, you help them to move on. And that's really a great gift, Renee. And you have people from all walks of life, which also is amazing. I mean, it doesn't matter, they can have a job here and a job up there, and you still have made an impression with them and helped them to move on because some of them are still, even though they are working and moving, doing the things you do in life, they're able to move on with freedom from that horrible thing that happened to them. So I'm very proud of what you do, Renee.
Oh,
And I
well,
don't talk as a person who, you know, always believed in that kind of thing.
I know. I
But I
know.
know it exists because you're my daughter and I see that.
I remember when I first started doing this, you would worry. You would just say, I don't want this to drain you. Or like at night, you'd say, is this, what I mean? I just want to make sure you did. I remember
Yeah. I didn't want you to go down a trail where sometimes there is a lot of criticism
there
uh,
is,
for this. And you get in this
and that
field.
hurts me. That hurts me. Yeah.
Yeah, but you get good and bad, Renee.
Yep.
And I just read something too where no matter what a person does is good and bad. But we know there are some things that you stay away from, and that's an important thing. But you do this on your own. You don't have any connection other than the people that come to you and
Yep.
the people that they lost. So
Yep.
Renee, you're doing a great job, and you're getting a lot of people now who really do continue on with you. Sometimes you say you get a message for them, and you'll pick up a phone. You just don't like say, "Well, that's it," or you have so many minutes and that's it. You do call people when certain things come to you after they
Yeah.
left, and you say, "I forgot to tell you that this is important," and that's what they really wanted. I remember the one person that came and said at the end, the person was kind of like, you didn't know whether he was like engaged or not, but he was. He just didn't always act like he was in tune. But, anyways, you said, you have a medal from somebody. And he was shaking his head like this. And I thought, well, that's one time Renee probably was thinking of somebody else. And then finally he reaches up and pulls down the medal and shows it to you. And I thought, well, how would she get that? I couldn't see any medal around, but he picked it up. And I think to myself, well, that was a good way to end it for him. And sometimes that happens, where they don't respond that much. But there's always something that they came, and then that is the one thing that I think he wanted to.
Well, I think with this is why I like to talk people in the beginning. I think sometimes, Mom, people, they're nervous when they come in, and I understand that. So I try to talk for like 5 minutes to just tell them it's not going to be anything bad. I don't sense negative, bad. I don't know when you're going to leave. You know what I mean? The planet. I'm not God. You know what I mean? There's free will and miracles. So I always tell people that just relax and breathe. You're not going to sense. You're only going to have love and light. And I think sometimes our mind, just like in anything, when you're nervous, you overthink something, right? So sometimes it takes people a few seconds. And if they don't understand something right away, and I keep hearing it in my right ear to stick with it, I always try to re-ask them another way. Or I'll say, if it doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? Or if I see them kind of looking, I try to find another way to ask them because I know this means something for them. Because I always just want someone to leave. I just want people to know how loved they are. And that I don't care. I don't care who you are, what you do, Mom. Nobody has more angels in heaven. No one is loved any more than anybody else. Your career doesn't matter, right? On the physical earth, yes, but in heaven, and I just think it's important for us to get back in touch and in tune with heaven and asking for what we need. We do too much with the computer and the internet, and it's all instantaneous, right? Nobody wants to spend time trying to connect. You want to hurry up and find something on the computer or on Instagram or on Facebook, right? And I just think that's what's getting us very disconnected.
And you have helped people, and I do think there are people who come to see you and they'll tell you that they are nervous, but by the time the session's over, they're very
Oh,
comfortable.
they're
And you
good.
don't tell things that is going to make them
No.
feel worse. They walk away feeling better. And I mean, it's not like you're just saying things to make them feel better. What you say to them is so accurate. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how would anybody, I always come up with, how would she know that? So you've had some good interviews, or I should say sessions. It's a great thing to do. If you can make one person feel better in life, what is better than that? But I start to now get involved with your podcast, and I see that, you know what, every podcast that you do makes the person that you are talking to feel so much better. And that's what life is all about.
Mom, and I thank you for being on this today. I mean, I wanted to have you on and I wanted people to see, you know what I mean, that you're my mother and I love you and you support me with this. And, I just think it's really good for people to see this, to see another side and to hear a little bit about the way it is with me. So, Mom, I'm going to have you on again. I just think you were really good and I thank you for doing this.
I've enjoyed it, Renee. Who would believe that I would be talking to my daughter who can reach the other side when I thought, I am so surprised, but I'm very proud of you, Renee, because I think that is what it's all about, helping others.
Mom, I love you. Thank
I
you.
love you too, Renee.